Conspiracy Corner.
So, Jay.
Yeah.
Conspiracy Corner. We're trying to think, what could we talk about? What's a good conspiracy?
Yeah.
And we came up with something. What did we come up with, Jay?
So there is a large movement around the flat Earth theory.
When I pitch this to you,
Yeah.
you're like, there's nothing there. This is a nothing burger.
Right.
There's nothing to talk about. And I said, isn't there? And was I right or was I wrong? I don't know.
So I'm going to tell you what people that believe in the flat Earth theory say, like what their evidence is.
Okay.
And let's see if there's some merit to this.
Let's see if flat Earth is real.
So first of all, in order for the Earth to be flat, there couldn't be gravity, right? They believe there is no such thing as gravity.
Yeah.
So why do things fall? Because of their density.
Weight.
Their density and weight is what pulls them to the ground, okay? So that's their theory for why things fall.
And we're held to the ground because
of our weight, our density.
Weight. Okay.
And buoyancy is also the second thing they say is why. But
okay,
that's their theory.
I like it.
They say that 8 inches per mile squared is is the dip. So if you're looking out a few miles, you should be able to see this
Every 1
big
mile
8-inch difference.
is an 8-inch dip.
But you don't. Like if you look down, let's say you had a flat city and you were looking miles down the road,
you don't just see the
you wouldn't
top.
see, if it was 5 miles out, 40 inches lower, right?
Yeah.
So what's that about? Like,
Sure.
There should, if the Earth is curved, and it's going down 8 inches,
8 inches
then we should be missing
mile.
40 inches off of that building.
Hell yeah.
But we're not. Okay.
Weird.
They believe that water doesn't curve; that it is completely flat. Right. So if the Earth is flat, then water's not ever curved. It goes to the edge of the Earth and then falls off the edge.
So Antarctica,
There's an edge.
right? Antarctica circles the world,
and that's what holds all the water in,
what's holding
right? And that's pretty much the edge of the Earth. So if you were able to get over that ice wall, you would fall off the Earth. Okay. There's no atmosphere, right? Because the vacuum of space would have sucked it out. How is there an atmosphere?
So what is when you see ships burning through the atmosphere and all that? What is that? That's nothing.
Well,
us not being burned from the sun.
Well, they're just saying
that?
like if the Earth was round and we had this atmosphere around us, right? Wouldn't the vacuum of space suck that atmosphere out? And so how is that possible? They think there's a dome.
Oh, if there is no gravity, I don't know.
They think there's a dome over the flat Earth, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So that's where the air and everything is held in.
That's right.
That's how we get. That's why the vacuum of space doesn't pull the atmosphere.
We're basically not a snow globe, but like the flat snow globes.
Yeah,
where it's just
it's a snow globe basically.
Yeah, basically
they're all flat. But
it's dome. Snow globe is globe, so it sounds funny.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
A snow dome.
Parabola. They're parabola shaped.
Yeah. A dome. Yeah.
And then so they do this experiment where they show that they put water on a ball and spin it, and the water flies right off. So how are the oceans staying on the Earth if water can't stay on a spinning ball?
Sure, it would fling off.
Yeah. If we're on a spinning Earth, then how are the oceans
if there's no gravity?
Off the Earth?
Yeah, sure.
They believe that all the NASA satellite photos, all those pictures are fake, right? Yeah. And that this is a global lie, and that Antarctic treaty that all the countries agreed to is to keep the Antarctic safe
keep the lie. Keep the lie alive.
If people were to be able to just go to Antarctica whenever they want,
that's why we're not allowed to
get
go to
over the wall. They would see that we were on a flat Earth,
and that's why every country agrees.
Yes,
no going to Antarctica.
So these are their main points. This is what they believe.
Okay, there's some substance there. There's something there. Okay, I like that. So flat Earth. So if there's no gravity, this makes sense to me. If we do live in a dome, we would look up, we'd see stars, right?
Yeah, they don't believe anyone's ever left, like gone to the moon. That's fake. Yeah.
What are we on?
We're just on a flat piece of Earth.
And then what's below that?
Nothing. The space.
Oh, more space.
Yeah.
So the Earth literally looks like a dome.
Outer space.
It looks like a flat with a dome. Okay.
With a dome over the top.
That makes sense. We look up, we see. That makes sense.
That's their best evidence. Yeah. So let's go through this and see, is there real merit to these?
Sure.
Because this is a strange topic to me. So first of all, no gravity and density being what holds you to the Earth. density isn't a force, right? That's it's like your weight in mass. So that can't pull you towards the ground. No. A force has to pull you and hold you to the ground. Gravity very much exists. Gravity is real. So that first point is very much disproven. And the only way there could be gravity is from the rotation of the Earth and the large mass of this huge sphere that pulls everything towards it, including the atmosphere. So that's important to know. So the 8 inches per mile squared.
How does that make sense? So there's not a dip, is there?
No, and actually that's their math. That's not an astrophysicist's math. That's not anyone's real math. That's their math that they've created for this. Yes. So
damn it.
That's not a thing.
Okay, because that was compelling. I'm like, no, I've looked every square mile. I looked at square mile and I don't see an 8-inch drop.
Right, because there's not.
They made
that math up. That is part of their lore. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So that one's, we could just call that made up.
So one thing, real quick, one thing I did here. This is, I guess, the best example. So if this is a globe, right? This is a sphere, and we live on a sphere.
Right.
This is something I've heard the flat earthers say.
Okay.
Is this. So if this is the sphere, right?
Yes.
And we live on it. This is us. This is us. Woo! Okay? And if we want to go to, let's say, Australia. And we live on a globe. If we walk down to Australia, we'd be upside down.
That's funny. So
right?
Yeah. So
you understand the logic that they have there?
I get the logic. It's very basic logic. So what they're suggesting is that the North Pole actually faces towards the top of the universe. That's not the case. There is no up and down in space, right?
People in Australia are standing on the ground.
Being held to the earth by gravity. And from their perspective, they are standing straight, upright. And we're in space, right? In space, there's no such thing as up and down.
And if you want to look at me, let's say I could walk to Australia.
They're not
look at me walking
down.
I'm not going to start going upside down. No, I'm sticking to the ground and I'm going to walk.
Right.
And to
over
me,
the curvature of the earth.
And relative to me, my perspective, it will seem as if I'm just like in the United States, where the ground's below me, the sky's above me. I'm not going upside down.
Right.
Simple.
Exactly. Yeah.
Simple to understand.
Now, will celestial bodies look different from different places on Earth? Of course they will. Yes, you will get different views based on perspective. 100%. You're not going to get the same sky in LA as you're going to get in Japan. It's going to look different. So that's normal.
Hence, different time zones, different times of day. That's why, because it's a sphere and we're moving across. That's why there's daytime here when it's nighttime there. Then it switches up.
So there's that. Water not curving. I thought that was just a weird thing to say, because we've all seen a drop of water on a leaf. It looks like a sphere. It looks like a ball of water.
1,000,000%.
Yeah, so that's a curve. Have you ever hung a TV and used a level? That's a bubble of water. Bubble. That's round. So water curves for sure. We know that for a fact.
Well, it's so funny because there is no straight lines in nature at all. Everything is curved.
Yeah, for water to
in
be
nature,
the thing that isn't curved is interesting. So that's a silly thing. Come on. Also, great one. Why doesn't our atmosphere get sucked out into the vacuum of space, right? Because vacuum of space doesn't mean like a vacuum. That you clean your house with. Vacuum means nothing.
The lack of
there's nothing
mass,
there, right? There is nothing.
It's a lack of mass, matter, gravity.
Of anything. There's a lack of anything, right? So it doesn't have a sucking force. And gravity holds the atmosphere around the Earth, right?
But
that's why the higher you go, the thinner the atmosphere gets until it's gone.
There is a sucking force, and that's what's gravity. That's gravity.
That's the center of the planet pulling.
And that's the pole. Yeah.
Yep. The pull from the center of the planet. Of the spherical planet.
Okay.
So comparing mass to gravity that was absurd to me.
Given Life said, tell them people to get drunk and see how gravity works.
Yeah, there you go.
Clever.
One thing I can't argue with is NASA does fake photos.
Why do they do that, man?
They do it all the time.
I understand, because the Earth is so big, to composite it, you would have to, add photos because this piece looks a little shitty.
No,
when you take
they should
this
never
photo,
do it.
But you should never do it.
They should never, ever do it.
Just because it's a bad look.
It is. It is. And because of that, the moon landing is still in debate.
Sure.
There's a lot of good evidence against us ever going to the moon. Joe Rogan just had an episode recently with the guy who was like the foremost expert on the fake of the moon landing. And he has some of the best evidence I've ever seen.
Because Joe used to be a huge moon landing denier.
And now, and then he went back and realized it was, but then this guy came on and Joe couldn't trip him up.
Yeah,
he had good evidence. But NASA fakes photos, and the government, unfortunately, has been caught lying to us a lot. So, do these people have a reason to doubt what they're being told by their government?
Absolutely.
Do they have a reason to doubt that NASA is faking these photos and think that they're faked?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
What we do have is our own telescopes, right? You can get your own, or you can go to an observatory, and you can look at other celestial bodies, and they are all spheres. And they all have gravitational pulls with orbits and other moons, just like we do, and suns, and they revolve around suns, just like we do.
Yeah.
So we can actually look out into the cosmos ourselves with our own eyes, using our own telescopes that we make with our own hands to make sure that there's nobody playing with it. And we can look out into outer space and know that our planet is no different than any of these other planets out there, save for the fact that we are here.
So Chase asked a great question. He said, well, what is the benefit of the world governments pretending the Earth is round?
Yes, there is none.
There isn't a good one.
Silly.
Unless... What, on the other side of the Arctic wall, there's this beautiful like parrot. Like
that only
even
they
still,
have access to. Yeah. Even then,
like how
show
nice
me how many
is it
flights
here?
that they've taken there.
Just go to some beautiful
Tahiti.
tropical island. Yeah, go to fucking Tahiti.
How I'd want to close it out is there is a race, a boat race, every year that takes place in Antarctica.
There's another race of whoever can hit the like button quickest. Go for
That's
it.
a good race.
That's a good race.
And these boats, they go around Antarctica and race to see who can win. And this happens every year. Just the fact that they can go around Antarctica proves that it's a continent on a sphere and not the edges of a flat Earth. Yeah. So just that display every year proves this point.
I did not know there was a boat race.
Every year. Yeah.
That's fucking wicked.
So sorry, flat Earth guys.
Yeah.
It's just not true. It's just not. It's debunked every which way from Sunday. But it's fun. And it makes a good conspiracy corner. These are pictures that can show you the actual curvature of the Earth. If you have enough distance, you can see that the bottoms of those buildings are no longer visible due to the curvature of the Earth. The bottom of that boat is no longer visible due to the curvature of the Earth. So you should be able to see all of that if it was a flat Earth. But because of the curvature of the Earth, you cannot. This is an actual boat. As it gets further off into the distance, you can see how it's only the top of the boat visible as it gets further and further away. So first the bottom of the boat disappears, then the middle of the boat disappears, and then it's just left with the very top of the boat. And eventually you'll just see that very, very top peak piece as it disappears over the curvature. So that's the best way to prove a flat earther wrong is, I mean, the best, you got a flat surface is the ocean, and you can see as things disappear behind it.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, so that's flat earth. Sorry, guys. It's fun, but it's fake.
But it's fake.
Yeah.
So we've debunked flat earth. So,
gotta do it.
I mean, if you like this video, hit that like button. That would be great. If you didn't, I appreciate you watching this long. But yeah, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the next one.